Vlogmas. Today we're just gonna make a super simple raw salsa. I'm trying out a new recipe, but I find that the more you cook and play with flavors, the more you know if something doesn't sound very good, or you feel like this amount of this item won't taste as good as you're hoping it will, and you play around a little bit with recipes. That's okay. And have some fun in the kitchen. So we're starting off with a base of about 2 pints of tomatoes. I have a mixture here of Roma and also just on the vine tomatoes. And 2 pints amounted to about 936 grams. So what we're gonna do is, instead of, originally the recipe said to pulse everything all at once, however, we also have sun-dried tomatoes in here and some herbs. We have some cilantro that we really want processed really finely. You don't want any really big bites of cilantro unless you love it. So what we're going to do is we're going to initially pulse half of it. We're going to blend half of it, I should say, with everything, with half the tomatoes. Then we're going to go back in with the second half of the tomatoes and just pulse that. So it's got a little bit of a texture to it still. So like I said in one of my previous videos about layering things that you blend, we're going to do the liquid on the bottom, which will end up being the tomatoes. And then next we're going to put in the sun-dried tomatoes. We've got a 1/4 cup roughly of sun-dried tomatoes. You can soak these for 20 minutes first if you want it to be easy to process, or just throw them in. And again, you also want to get these not packed in oil, preferably just the plain sun-dried ones that you find near the produce in the bags. Since these are tougher to chop, these will go in second, right next to the liquid, because we want these processed pretty finely. And then next we'll have the herbs we want processed really finely. Another addition that would be good here is parsley. And then I'm going to then add in my onion, which will be a little bit more difficult to chop. And it says about 2 slices, but I like a lot of flavor in my salsa and less tomato. So we're just adding in more onion than that. To that we also have about 2 scallions. And originally it said just to use the white parts, but I prefer the green parts, so we're just throwing that in too. Probably could chop this up a little bit. And I just pre-chop the tomatoes as well, just to make it a little bit easier to blend up. We've also got a 1/2 tablespoon of lime juice, but I'm going in initially with a 1/2, and I'm going to test it and see if maybe we want a whole tablespoon. To this I'm going to add either a clove of garlic or just a little splash of dried garlic. So probably that would amount to about a 1/2 teaspoon or so. I like things kind of garlicky, so I don't mind putting in a little bit more than that. We're going to also do a dash of chili powder, or you could add maybe a little raw jalapeno if you've carefully de-seeded it and rinsed it. You could do that as well. A little chili for flavor. And this wasn't in the recipe, but I'm just going to add a bit of celery salt that you will find in one of my next videos, how to make that. So I'm just going to put a little bit of celery salt in there just for a little extra saltiness. Alright, we'll go ahead and get this blended, and then we will pulse in our second half of tomatoes next. Alright, we're ready to add in our second half that we're just going to pulse. We have the size process that we want, where the herbs are sort of just bite size. The onions are bite size, nothing too overpowering. Good time for a taste test. Okay, I'm gonna go in with more garlic, and it doesn't have much spice to it at all, so I will go in with some chili powder as well. Garlic there. I can taste the lime juice, so we'll leave that as it is. Need a quick pulse. batch of salsa that you can freeze, use when you're ready, or eat it all at once. Always an option. All right, happy Vlogmas. See you next time.